Hi, this is Reverend Dr. Nadine Rosechild-Sullivan, and it is Sunday night, December 20th, 2020. And so I'm coming tonight for our weekly creation visualization. Every week at 7 p.m., we come together to visualize creating the world that we want as we move forward. And I want to take just a moment, since it's December 20th, just to talk about this holiday season. This is for many or most or maybe all of us, kind of en masse collectively, a particularly difficult holiday season. And so just let me wish you, Hanukkah is just passed. It ended on Friday, the 18th. So happy Hanukkah, retrospectively. But for others, have Merry Christmas, Blessed Yule, Merry Kwanzaa or Happy Kwanzaa, just, as we move into our season, as we celebrate the solstice or we celebrate just our winter holidays, whatever they may be, spiritual or not, however it is you celebrate. I want to wish you a really, really merry holiday season all the way through the new year. And I want to wish us all a much, much better next year. But that said, even before COVID and quarantine, Christmas or the holidays of whatever kind, all of these events have tended to be really hard on a lot of people because life brings changes. And as we go through life, the things we had in other years aren't still there, or the people that we had in other years. So I did grow up with Christmas. Um, and in growing up with Christmas, I grew up as one of 12 living children, 13 born. But in that space, there were a lot of things. My parents didn't have extra money. And so I've sometimes said that I didn't get a gumball from Christmas to Christmas, not so much as a gumball. I didn't usually often get a birthday present. I had a summer birthday. Somehow all of the summer birthday kids, four of us, got corralled into getting kind of joint family gifts. So, we'd get something everybody could enjoy in the summertime. We had an above ground pool, not very fancy, just some metal walls and a big plastic liner. And so we'd get talked into giving up our birthday presents so that everybody could enjoy a wooden ladder to get into the pool with, something like that, and it was like, 4 foot tall or whatever, but, a ladder. So we got a cake, and a song, but Christmas was when I got gifts. And, for all the ups and downs of being in the upper tier of children born in a group of 12, right, in a cluster of 12, they one of the things that my parents did do very, very well was they did shop for Christmas well. They began the day after Christmas. I learned this when I grew up, right? But they began the day after Christmas with the after Christmas specials and began to purchase and hide gifts all year long. So from the 26th of December on, if they saw something that was on sale, something one of their children would have resonated with, they would buy it and hide it in the attic and then wrap it sometime in October and November. It took them weeks and weeks to wrap. As I got old enough to help join in the wrapping, I got to discover that too. And then it would take 2 hours to bring the gifts down and put them under the tree on Christmas Eve after the little guys had gone to bed or when I was little. But the thing about the way my parents shopped for Christmas presents was it showed that they knew you, that they understood you. So I would get the fountain pen and the poetry book, and another brother would get the chemistry set, and somebody else. People got both. I mean, as little kids, we like, I want this. We did what everybody does. Tell Santa, I want this, but, or, that whole thing. But as we got older, our parents' knowledge of us showed through the years. It kind of changed when we started having kids and they started buying for their grandchildren instead of buying for their children anymore. But in the years when they were buying for me, I really felt seen every Christmas. And not only that, we each had a cluster of gifts to open, and we had to take turns, and only one present could be being opened at any given moment. So it took hours to open our Christmas presents because we may each have had 8 or 10 or 12 gifts. We had a bundle, and so they would get passed out. They'd be placed very carefully under the tree. My father would commandeer the handing of them, handing out of the presents, and then each child had to sit and watch while their sibling opened their gift before another gift would be passed, and another and another. So every 12th time it was your turn, and then it was your turn many times. And then you got to make your little pile and cart it off to your bed and bedroom and keep it in a space, space for yourself. But I felt really, really seen. It's been really difficult in the years since then to in any way replicate that. Um, I married a man that I loved very much, but he was Jewish, and his background in this kind of Christmas tradition was not part of. We did some combination of whatever, but he was used to getting a pair of pants and a toy truck, and some Hanukkah gelt, but he was not used to buying Christmas presents at this level. So. And then we had kids, and all of that money that you get when you're a young couple struggling with young children all goes into buying presents for your children. And I was trying to do for my kids what my parents had done for me. So I was trying to buy them a multitude of things that I felt they wanted, needed, liked, help try to make them feel seen. Don't know if I succeeded. And it might depend on what year we're talking about, how well I succeeded for either child. But I was trying. And in those years that I was trying for them, often he wasn't trying for me, partly because he didn't know how. And then my parents had stopped trying for me because they were buying for the grandchildren. And so I'm like, my kids already have like 12 presents. They don't need yours. I need yours, but they didn't hear that. So there were a couple of times I ended up out in the barn crying after they had moved to a place with a barn or built a barn. But I'd end up, just because there were a number of years I didn't get a gift. Well, my mother may have put a comb and a bottle of shampoo in my Christmas stocking, but it wasn't the same thing. And then they took to buying one thing for the boys and one thing for the girls. So every boy in the family got some sort of something to jumpstart a car battery, and every girl got a whisk to make whipped cream. I mean, we do that electrically, so I don't know. But my last Christmas present for my father before he passed was a whisk. All the girls got a whisk that year. Mine has the date on it, and I leave the cardboard packaging from the dollar store on it, and it has hung on my tree a number of years, but it was a whisk. So it wasn't the same effect, right? So life changes, and Christmas changed. Christmas started out, when I was little, not only the toys and the delight and whatever, but, the tree. You would go to bed Christmas Eve, and there was a tree in the living room. Sometimes it had lights on it. Eventually, it usually had lights on it. I think when I was really little, I'm not even sure it had lights when I went to bed, but when you woke up in the morning, magically, the tree was decorated. The lights were on it, the lights were on, the balls, the tinsel hung one strand at a time, meticulously all over the tree. And then all that sea of presents, as I got old enough to have a camera somewhere as a early teen, maybe 13, 14, I tried to take a picture of the Christmas tree and get all the presents under, and it actually took 3 shots. And then I had to go around some windowsills too. There was just so much of it. So it was so magical and so delightful. And then it stopped being for me, about me. It became about my kids. But I still had my parents, and there were still years of going, and there were just years and years and years when my children and we would go. My husband this didn't mean so much to him. He liked to get time and a half and work on the holiday. And so we'd often have a different Christmas with him, a different day. And then myself and my daughters, we would go to my parents, and there would be 67 immediate family members jammed into this house. And, this sort of wraparound space in it, and just in the living room, in the kitchen, in the dining room, just everywhere, siblings and their spouses and their children. So nieces, nephews, cousins, for my kids, and that kind of something. And it went on for a long time. And there was beauty in that as well. But even then, I'd begun to miss the grandparents and the great grandparents that had been there when I was really little. And, and those were the years I was out crying in the barn because I didn't get a gift, but other than some shampoo and a comb. But then we move forward, and then my parents pass. And then there's nowhere to go home to anymore. There's not that space. So not only did the great grandparents pass and then the grandparents, but then the parents passed. And then at my father's funeral, there's this strange moment. There was, when you would come to the coffin at the graveyard, there would be a line of chairs set up by the funeral director, I guess. And the oldest people in the family had always sat in those chairs. And I was always someone standing while my parents and grandparents or whomever sat. And then suddenly it was like, here, you take a seat. And it was like, wait, I'm like, oh gosh, my parents' children were the oldest tier, the oldest generation of the family standing there. So those very strange changes that happen. And now when the Christmas music plays, the ones that we resonate with, because my parents, being very Catholic, took us to midnight mass, sang in midnight mass. We sang a lot of spiritual Christmas carols, hymns, Christmas hymns. And we did a lot of that in church, a lot of that in my grade school choir. And then, moving forward, I still will play that kind of music. I'm much more going to play Hark the Herald Angels Sing than play Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. But in all of that, it just keeps changing. And so now Christmas over the past time has become about my children and my grandchildren, right? And to be watching my grandchildren and watching them and their delight. But now they're getting older. And so this might be their last year with toys, or maybe next. I don't know. So they're sort of on that cusp. But, there's that space, but it's very different this year. Not only is there that, but, it's not possible to really travel and visit any other family. It's not wise. I know many people who got sick over Thanksgiving. And so we're doing our absolute best to be careful this holiday season and not to join the statistics of the numbers out there of people getting sick, and to obey the rules of quarantine and to be cautious. And so, there'll be a Zoom call with family members that I wish I could visit. There'll be those kinds of moments, but there'll be a lovely day with my daughters and a daughter's boyfriend and my grandsons and the people who have been in my bubble this whole time, and as much as I can have a bubble. And we will still be masked together because, we work in different spaces, come and go in different ways, but do our best and be as careful as possible. And we'll eat at some distance when we're unmasked. But, my greatest Christmas wish this year is that we all be here next year together. And the same for you. So I don't know what you're going through right now. I don't know what you've been through this year, who you've lost or not lost, how close it's come or not come. I know it's gotten a whole lot closer. I know our numbers are really bad. I also know the vaccine is being administered. And even some people I know personally have already been able to receive the vaccine because they're healthcare workers. And my heart rejoices. It will still be, they'll need a follow-up dose in 4 weeks, and it'll still be like 10 days after that. So there's still 6 weeks from being immune themselves. But it's a fabulous thing that our healthcare workers are beginning to be vaccinated with safe and effective vaccine that will give them immunity so they can stop being constantly on edge as they work to save other people's lives. And there have been, there have been lives saved. There have been people who recovered, and people that we wouldn't even necessarily have expected to recover. There are also others that we've lost. We do this every week. So in the globe right now, there have been 77,104,000 diagnosed cases of COVID-19, which is up from last week by 4,527,000, rounding just a little. So 4,527,000, which is an increase in cases of 647,000 per day. Also in the United States, in the realm of diagnosed cases, we have, according to ncode2019.live, the tracker I use, we are at 18,225, 18 million, 225,947 diagnosed cases, which is up 1,534,000 since last week, and an increase of 219,000 cases on average per day by this COVID tracker this week. In the globe, other human beings, just like you and I, have 1,698,000 have died, which is up 80,608 from last week, which is up 11,515 deaths per day in the globe. And then back to the United States, which is where most of the people listening to this currently live. According to NCO2019.live, again, we have reached 324,574 deaths. So 324,574 Americans have left this world in less than a year. Really, our numbers, our counts really begin in March. There were a handful of cases in February, but those numbers are really in 3/4 of a year. So we still have till next mid-March to get to before we've achieved a year from when we went on lockdown, from when we started to try to quarantine or try to be encouraged to wear masks. So this is not a year's count, right? So when they tell you it's the same as the flu, 30,000 people in the United States die on average per year from the flu, not 300 and almost 25,000 in 3/4 of a year, in less than a year. That is up 18,500 from last week, which is an increase of about 2,643 deaths per day on average. So that means some of us have lost people near and dear to us. Others of us at this moment, including myself, have people we care about in the hospital. Some in ICU. Some of them are of all different age groups. It's not like they pictured it to us. This thing's been real, and it makes this Christmas or this Hanukkah season, this Yule season, this Kwanzaa season, whatever you celebrate, this makes it all much harder. Even as we come up through New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, it makes it all this much harder to be in this place. See, people get depressed at this holiday season because it brings back memories of things that have gone away or people who have passed over. And I will not say that I won't see them again, because I actually believe I will. And I actually believe I feel them often. And at this time of the year, maybe I feel them more. When I'm cooking for Thanksgiving or Christmas, I feel my mom. I feel her arms buried elbow deep in the inside of a turkey, salting it and rinsing it out, and chopping onions and making stuffing. I feel her rolling pie dough. I feel her with me as I cook. I don't do it much. I do it as little as possible. I get commandeered into it at the holidays, but I feel mom, and I feel dad, and I feel the tree that he decorated so lovingly, strand by strand, and the toy train, the electric train he put underneath the base of it, and the gazillion presents that he spent all year squirreling away so that he could wow his children on Christmas morning while Santa got the credit. Yeah. I feel them, and I miss them, but I'm glad for what I have, and I'm grateful to be here tonight, able to breathe, and healthy and well. And I'm glad to be here with my children, well and strong, and my grandchildren. And I hope for you that you have the same, but wherever you are, all of us as a community, our hearts, our thoughts, our prayers are with each other and all that we have and all that we're going through. And may we all, 1 year from now, still be together and be able to be together unmasked, hugging, eating, unmasked, eating together. I don't do that. I eat 30 feet away. But may we all be liberated from this. There seems to be good reason to take this vaccine. The reports are that this technology of this mRNA vaccine, that has been being worked on for a number of years, and that it was actually pre-developed and ready for the protein of this particular coronavirus to be put into it. When you are given an injection of an mRNA vaccine, I hope I said that right, it does not change your DNA. It is a piece of protein. It is not a complete virus. It's not a live virus. It's not even a dead virus. It's a piece of protein from a virus that's been put into a fat globule that goes in, and your body then kicks in to it. First off, it dissolves that and digests that, and it goes into high gear to make you immune to it, to build up antibodies to it. So that's really important. It's also really important to recognize there's been conspiracy theories out there. I won't even deal with where did it come from? Because I have no earthly way of knowing. But what I will deal with is that, it's, though there are people fighting to help us get over it, get past it, get back to being as normal as possible, right? Get back to life and the economy and whatever. And so, the conspiracy theories that try to claim that they would nanochip us so that they could track us, like, this thing is everywhere I go. It tracks me. It's listening now. If I start talking about boots, the next ads I see when I get off this call will be for boots, right? I mean, it's listening to us. We sleep with them. We take them to the restroom. They are everywhere with us. Don't ask me to touch your phone. Like, even before COVID, I was in the restroom with you. Why? Just show me your pictures. Like, okay, I can see your photos. I don't need. Anyway, we need this. We get to watch. Most of us are not healthcare workers. The UK has been giving it out for weeks. We get to watch what actually happens to the people who get vaccinated. Most of us before it would be our turn. Also, the government will not mandate. It's the United States. The government will not mandate that you take a vaccine. And therefore, your job might. If you work in a hospital, it might. When I worked in a hospital, I had to take the flu vaccine. I didn't have a choice. I had to get tested for TB every year. Didn't have a choice. So if you work in healthcare, you might get mandated by your employer, right? But I'm a teacher, and I need to be able to be back with my students live. Hopefully, sincerely, by next fall. I can make it through another term virtual. Did my best, not so bad. Hope we got somewhere. Felt a lot better than spring. Fall worked out a lot better. I was a lot more prepared, got through it all. But I miss a live classroom, and I'm looking forward to being able to be immune and to walk in among students who are immunized as well, and to be able to just take a mask off and teach, right? So this space, merry, happy, whatever you celebrate, make the absolute best of it. Make the best of it. If you have people you love that you can't be with, call them, FaceTime, Zoom. Zoom's free, do something. Just call them, share your love. Raise a glass of whatever. If you don't drink, raise a glass of ginger ale. Raise a glass of something to those who have left you that you will see again. I firmly, truly believe. And to Christmases past or holidays past and their joys, and to the future, to the ones yet to come. So now let's envision again. We are taking our intention and channeling it collectively into seeing this pandemic having passed over us and being gone. We are focusing our intention on having non-corrupt leadership at the helm of government, local, state, and national. We are taking our intention and envisioning an end to the historic grievances and wrongs of Western societies, of racism and sexism and homophobia and every way in which people hurt other people. We are taking our intention and envisioning a world that has moved past nativism, and a world in which is a hatred of immigrants or a fear of immigrants, and to recognize those who are seeking asylum, who are refugees, often from climate change, and envisioning a world in which human beings use their intellect as a thinking species to create actual clean forms of energy and transition now to them, because there's no time to waste if we want to survive as a species. So envision with me now, just closing your eyes. Take this moment, if you can breathe freely, to be grateful that you can, and to feel the air going into your lungs and your diaphragm expanding and contracting with each breath. Your breath unites you to the movements of the earth. It anchors you in to the movement of the waves of the sea, as the waves come in and pull away again over and over rhythmically. Your breath is rhythmic. As the wind moves around the surface of the planet, as the jet streams move, your breath is wind in your body. And you are giving and receiving with each breath, breathing in the oxygen manufactured by green growing plants and trees, and exhaling the carbon dioxide that they need. Just allow yourself, as you breathe, to be aware of your body, that it is here now. Feel the air against the skin of your face. Feel whatever you're sitting on or where you're standing, or laying, just feel the support that you have, the gravity that holds you to the earth. And in this space, just allow your body to deeply relax as you begin to use your imagination to envision moving forward in time to where overwhelmingly humankind has been vaccinated against this actually deadly virus. See the day that this pandemic has passed over us, using that metaphor of the angel of death that passed over the children of Israel when they painted the blood of the Lamb on their doorposts, and they came out in the morning still standing. With me, envision whatever you believe in. Envision your family, those you love and need most, your most immediate, important friends, relatives, loved ones, children, grandchildren, parents, cousins, whatever it is, your household and your immediate people and your significant other. Picture the people you love and need most with you in a bubble of light, of protective energy. Each of you listening as your inner witness, as your inner spirit, as your intuition, as the voice of God on the inside of you directs you, gives you wisdom and guidance, tells you, reminds you to wear a mask, reminds you that you just touched that object and it's time to wash your hands or use some Purell. Just each of you, each person in your bubble being led, directed, guided, and obedient to that inner guidance, to that inner witness, and kept safe. See all of you safe, cautious, following the best dictates of science, and using all that you have in your spirit and your faith to just envision being protected together from whatever it is that would come against you and yours. And in this space, see, with the passage of time, all of you staying safe together in that bubble. See the year turning. Tomorrow is the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, the longest night of the year in the northern hemisphere. See that wheel of the year turning. And as it turns, as the days begin to lengthen and the nights begin to grow shorter, as we move from December 21st through the holiday season into January and February and March, and the days are lengthening longer and longer, and spring comes back again. See you and yours fully immunized. See all of this being left behind. See the way to move forward being clear. And in this moment, envision a peaceful transition of power in the United States. And envision liberty, justice, democracy, honest servant of the people, leaders at the positions of power in democracies here and around the globe. See no dictators, see a fall of authoritarianism, see a shift, see honest, honorable leadership, see getting rid of the dark money, air quotes, dark money in politics, the hidden and the millions that are funneled in to purchase politicians. See the purchased politicians removed from power, see them replaced with those who honestly care for their constituents and do the best to serve them. See the entire globe coming together to truly make a difference in the climate, to turn back while we may from warming this planet beyond where we can live, moving it back, moving it back. Clean, safe energy, see compassion being restored as a virtue, recognition of what causes people to flee a homeland and seek asylum somewhere else. See real monies being spent on the asylum courts, not on barriers, but on paths to citizenship. See there being change in all of these. See women's rights established. See the rights of people of color of all different ethnicities and races being affirmed, to see a change to true community policing and actually bringing on board other services and ways of handling things. See everything we need. A reduction or a remission of student loan debt. See a real, true living wage. See health care for everyone, access to health care for everyone in the richest nation, they tell us, in the world. But we haven't been the richest people. See help for those who have lost their jobs and are losing their homes in this winter season at the height of this pandemic. See help coming from more than nonprofits. See government stepping in to actually honestly help the people, not the big companies, but the people here and now. See a recognition and an understanding of socioeconomic class becoming commonplace. See a revitalization of recognition of the value of knowledge and education. Just see the world as you desire and your family, your household, and picture making the most of this holiday season the best way you can, even if it's just a phone call to those you love. See being able to look back with joy and satisfaction on that phone call, on whatever connection you could make. See ways to reach out to others in need. You yourself taking the time to think of someone else to reach out to give to in some way, even if it's simply a word of encouragement. Visualize using this season to bless someone. And with me, see, as the wheel of the year turns, you and yours, and me and mine, still safe, still embodied, still strong, healthy, anyone who catches it fully recovered, everyone making it through, see all of us fully immunized, see this being behind us and see us being able to move forward into a better normal, one in which you pursue your dreams, your goals, one in which you create the life you desire most, one in which you bless those around you, so that when it is your time to pass over, for all of us will, they will bless your name as they remember you. Long life, health, and prosperity to you and yours, and me and mine. But this thing, we are all mortal. And the thing that is sure in this world is change. So enjoy the now. Whatever you've got in this now that you can enjoy, do your best to make the best of this time. And let us all look back as the wheel of the year turns and we find ourselves next year this time, together, healthy, strong, well, with a new way to go forward financially, and with ways to just give our best and make the most of this gift of life until we rejoin those who have journeyed on ahead of us. God bless you, or Goddess bless you, or whatever you believe in bless you, Source bless you. Be well, be strong, blessed, merry, happy holiday season. And I will see you next week before New Year's Day. So have a wonderful, blessed winter holiday, whatever it is for you.